Long time no see. It's been over a year since I filmed an Outliving My Diagnosis episode, and a lot has happened. In the beginning of 2025, I started off living in an apartment with two other roommates. It was a married couple. They had put a listing on Facebook Marketplace looking for a roommate under the rug. I wasn't on the lease or anything. It was my first time being alone outside of my family's house or being in a loved one's house. I wasn't in anybody else's house as a favor or because someone felt bad for me. I was paying rent and I had to take care of myself. It was an amazing experience, and in total it ended up lasting maybe 6 months, and at the end of the 6 months I had to find somewhere else to go. I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace. I have about 3 weeks until I have to move. I'm trying not to stress, but like it's really hard for me, so I always was just stressing and stressing, but just trying to reaffirm so that way I could build new belief systems and new habits. Like, I'm trying not to stress as much, therefore I have to stop thinking in such a stressful way. And so I find a place on Facebook Marketplace, and it was like $1,000. It looked like this really big, really cute apartment. It was on this big plot of land, and I was like, there's no way this is real. The listing just seemed way too good to be true, and so I kept telling myself, like, this is too good to be true. Like, this is a scam. Like, you're gonna get kidnapped, you're gonna get killed. I have all of these limiting beliefs circling in my head, and then I tell myself, no, we're living different. We are taking chances. We are becoming someone new. And so guess what? I texted them regardless. And I was like, hey, I'd love to come see the place, yada, yada, yada. I'm thinking only $1,000 to move in. Like, this is just so unrealistic. So we schedule a time and I end up coming to the place and I look at the apartment. Y'all, what the fuck? There's a washer dryer in the unit. There's an amazing bathroom that is renovated. There's a loft on top. You know, there's this whole kitchen with a stove. It is just such an amazing situation. And I'm like, okay, I want it. Give it to me now. In that moment, I knew that's where I wanted to live. And so I was ready. I had $1,000 in my bank account. I was ready to just sign the lease, pay for the apartment, and start my new life. But then they tell me that it's $3,000 to move in and it's $1,000 for rent every month. And I was like, fuck. I don't want to lose this opportunity because I don't have $3,000 right now. I have $1,000 right now. How the fuck am I going to come up with $2,000 to pay a $3,000 moving in expense? And so they let me put $1,000 down. It was security deposit first and last month's rent. And so I put down the security deposit, and all I needed was to make $2,000 in like 3 weeks so that way I could pay rent by April 1st. And even though my old self and my old thought patterns and my old beliefs, they kept trying to tell me, no, you're not going to make the money. You're going to sign this lease and then you're going to go to court because you're not going to be able to pay this money. Da, 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 da. I didn't listen to that bitch. I said, no, I have faith in myself because I always show up for myself and I know I can make this happen. And you know what I fucking did? I made $2,000 in a matter of those 3 weeks and I fucking got the apartment. So now I'm living in this amazing fucking apartment. It is a complete dream come true. I have a full-sized porch. I'm on the 2nd floor, so I have an amazing view of the entire front part of the property. There is concrete sidewalk all around this little lake that they have on the property, and I walk every single day. I'm experiencing living by myself for the first time in my entire life, and if you've watched the series season 1 or season 2, all I ever talked about and all I ever wanted was to be on my own. I knew how much I would be able to thrive once I can take care of myself. I have full autonomy over myself, and I fucking made it happen. My fears, my insecurities, my limiting beliefs kept trying to make me self-sabotage this amazing opportunity. Like, I had this opportunity to live in an apartment for $1,000 a month in this fucking economy, utilities included, with an amazing community. I live in the trees. I live in a park, essentially. I would have given up the potential opportunity to have all of this simply because I believed I wouldn't have been capable of it or wouldn't have believed that it was possible. The belief of it not being possible would have stopped me, even though it very well was. And I allowed myself to take action to prove to myself whether or not it was going to be real or whether or not it was going to work out. As I'm moving into my new apartment, my best friend Emma comes down and visits, and so she's helping me move. We're putting my desk together. We end up doing a shrooms trip, which was an amazing experience. Her and I are tripping balls while we're doing a bonfire with my new neighbor Nick, and a man comes into the picture. We're gonna call this man Barn Guy. Barn Guy comes into the frame, and it turns out he's one of my neighbors. He lives in the barn in the back. As he was walking towards us, all we felt was the energy of sex. He was radiating sex, and I remember we're making small talk with him. I'm a new neighbor. This is my best friend. Oh, you live in the barn. Nice to meet you. Oh, Nico's your dog. Nice to meet you. Da-da-da-da. And so we're all talking, we're hanging out, we're having a good time, and we decide, okay, let's go to the back bonfire and continue talking. But Emma and I were like, okay, let's go inside real quick, collect ourselves, and then we're gonna go and meet you guys in the back. When Emma and I walked through the door, I tell you, I I fall to the floor and I'm like, Emma, did you feel that? She was like, yes. He was like radiating sex. And I was like, that's what I was thinking. Like, he's just giving sex, sex, sex. Like, that's all his energy was telling us. That should have been foreshadowing. That should have been a sign, but I ignored it. I had my rose-colored glasses on and I was like, a new friend. After a couple days of Emma and I hanging out, me getting settled into my new apartment, Emma goes home, and so I'm now in my new reality and I'm having to adjust, get used to everything. I slowly start developing a routine. I go on my daily walks, I'm working, I'm maintaining my apartment, I'm making sure I'm paying my rent. A lot of my life is just me focusing on work. But I end up developing a crush on Barn Guy. To keep a long story short and not go into it more than I actually have to, because I'm sure I'll talk about it more in the future, Barn Guy ends up going through a breakup with his girlfriend a little after I moved in. Barn Guy texts me and we hang out. So we're hanging out a couple times and then eventually we hook up. I think it's important for me to really heavily stress the fact that Barn Guy made it explicitly clear that he did not want a relationship with me. He just wanted to have fun and experience something new. And in my fucking head, I'm thinking, oh no, but like I'm gonna change his mind. Like he's gonna change his mind because like I'm the girl next door. Like I am someone fun that's easy to talk to and we have great chemistry. Him and I end up sleeping together a couple times, and every single time we sleep together, I end up having a conversation with him about how we shouldn't sleep together anymore, because at one point I even told him like, I have feelings for you and I know that this can't go any farther and I just don't think it's good for me to put myself in this situation. And we would talk for like an hour and I would set my boundary, and then an hour later, because we would talk for like maybe an hour or two, it would then spark up something and I would end up sleeping with him again, and I just wasn't staying true to the commitments I was trying to make for myself. I knew I wasn't getting what I wanted from the situation, but I kept putting myself in the same situation in hopes that I would get what I wanted. I remember the first time we had sex, it actually triggered my ovarian cyst. I had to call out of work the next day. I was in so much pain. It was actually so bad. But we were having sex, and at the end, I literally was like, can we cuddle? Because like all I want is to cuddle. Like again, if you guys have watched season 1 and 2, like all I ever really want is comfort from someone. And so I sleep with someone with disingenuous intentions. Like I'm lying to myself. I'm lying to myself about the fact that I can just do casual sex. I can just do hookups. So I'm lying to the other person about that being something I'm capable of. But anyways, I ask him if we can cuddle, just like so I'm held after you just like fucked me, I guess. And his response is literally like, okay. Like he literally flops down in such disappointment and like discontentment for the words that just came out of my mouth. The fact that I even tried to still put my head on his shoulder after he did that was just so disrespectful to myself. I am so thankful for the experiences that I had with him. I'm so thankful to have met him because he taught me so many lessons, and he forced me to face the residual parts of like my favorite person attachments and how I abandoned myself to avoid being abandoned by someone else. I didn't fully learn my lesson with Barn Guy because I still did blame him for a very long time. Like I was just so upset with the way he used me. I was so upset by how he just discarded me. I was so upset by how he just didn't value me. I was perceiving everything through the lens of my feelings. Like all I cared about was how I felt, how he made me feel, and this and that. I was putting all the blame on him because how could he make me feel this way? I didn't want to fully face my part in it because I think I felt a sense of shame, like shameful that I put myself in the same situation again and again. Even though I had a lot of processing to do, I had a lot of feelings to feel, I moved on and I was moving forward. After the whole situation happened and I was re-sexually charged, I started getting horny again, and it was really fucking up my life. Like it was decreasing my quality of life. All I could think about was sex. And at work, I don't know what it was about the work air, but work would just make me unbelievably horny. And there was this one coworker that I really liked. I liked him as a person. I was also really sexually attracted to him. It got to a point where I couldn't work with this person without thinking about all the things I wanted to do with them and all of the things I wanted to talk to them about. Like I wanted to get to know them more because I just had a crush on them in general. They were just such an interesting person and they seemed like a challenging person. Like I like a challenge and I like to learn about people who think in complex ways, and I can resonate with some of his experiences and some of the ways he thinks because of the things I've gone through and the old belief systems I used to have and da-da-da-da. And knowing myself, I know how attached I get. I know how obsessive I am, and I know how much I'm going to continue to think about it until I like cut it off. Like I needed to go cold turkey, not think about it anymore, and move on. So I sit my friend down and I'm like, hey, I really respect you. I just wanted to let you know, like, I do have feelings for you, and I think I'm just gonna take some time away from our friendship. I'm explaining to him how much I value our friendship and how much I want us to be friends and how I want him to be in my life, but right now it's becoming unsustainable. Like I can't build a connection with you in a platonic way because I'm romantically interested in you. Like I am sexually attracted to you, all of this stuff. And he was really understanding and he was so cool about it, and I was like, yes. So then I just kind of avoided him at work for a little while, and I think we had one other conversation about it, and I just asked him because in my head I'm so fucking delusional. So I asked him to look me in the eyes, being like, I'm asking you for a selfish favor. I know it's selfish. I'm just like, please look me in the eyes and just tell me it's never gonna happen. Just like tell me confidently like it's never going to happen. And so he tells me it's never going to happen, and I'm like, yes, okay, I got what I wanted. I'm going to move on. And you know what I did? I called Barn Guy and I slept with Barn Guy again. It had been like a month since I had seen Barn Guy. Barn Guy ghosted me. I just was so sexually frustrated and I just genuinely needed someone to fuck me. Like I just needed something. I needed something in my mouth. I wanted someone to kiss. Barn Guy was such a good kisser, and mind you, my ex never kissed me. I haven't kissed a lot. Like I don't have a lot of experience with my ex. I never made him come with my mouth. One of the first sexual experiences I had with Barn Guy was us drinking, and then I ended up giving him head, and I was so nervous because I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make him finish, but I made him finish in 2 minutes. I would suck my ex's dick for hours because I like it. I like sucking, but I was never able to make him finish, and I never understood why. And so I developed this habit of asking how I can do better, and I think it's a turn off for these guys because they'll be like, you made me come, didn't you? You made me do, and I'm just like, I just want to get better. Like I guess to me, I just was so insecure about my skills, and like I still am. It's like it's something I have to work on, but regardless. But I'm fully detached this entire night, and he's telling me things like, what if we ended up together? He's talking about marriage, talking about kids, us being together. He asked me on a date. He says we can be exclusive, and so I kiss him goodbye. He leaves. I'm thinking, oh my god, like I had been hyper fixating on a relationship with this man for months, and now the second I'm detached, now he's handing it to me on a silver fucking platter. At one point while he was fucking me, he said, you want to get fucked like this every day? That idea made me go crazy. I went crazy because of that one sentence. Not him offering to buy me a PC, not him offering to be in a relationship with me, not him offering to take me on a date. No. The fact that I could potentially be sexually active, oh my, I was so happy. I was like, yes. Anyways, long story short, I ended up going a little crazy. I got insecure because he would go like the entire day not answering my message. We had already canceled plans like 3 times because he was so busy with work, and I just genuinely didn't know if he was being honest or not because I already didn't have great experiences with him flaking. Like he never made a commitment to stay true to our plans. He would make plans and not show up to them. He would give me expectations and then not live up to them. I didn't get a good experience with him, and so I remember I ended it over the phone, right? I was just like, you know what, I just don't think this is right. Well, then I get in my head and I'm like, oh my god, what if I was wrong? Like what if I'm misperceiving the situation? Am I just perceiving this through my insecurity? Have I just been perceiving this through my fear? I just don't want to get hurt. I don't want to give him the power to hurt me, you know? So I'm just trying to get myself out of the situation before it even starts. Barn Guy and I slept together, I think 1 other occasion, maybe 2 other occasions after that, but I think it was only 1, and it was just casual and it was not good. Like the sex was actually so bad, and I'm pretty sure that's why I ended up blocked, because it just wasn't a great situation. Like there was no more chemistry, there was no more connection, it just wasn't aligned with us anymore. I ended up just moving on, moving forward, focusing on my own self and my own life, my own goals, my own dream, just trying to come back to myself inherently. I'm just so grateful for the experiences that I had with Barn Guy because he challenged my morals. This year, my morals have been challenged in many different ways, and I've actually learned what morals are, what are values. I've gotten deeper into these concepts, which we'll get more into in the video, but he shifted my perspective on money and the idea of scarcity and abundance, and I feel like now I don't see money as this bad thing. I don't hate rich people anymore. I have my own perspectives and I have my own perception, but it's not like this black or white thing where it's like if you're rich you're bad and if you're poor you're good. Like I don't measure the amount of money in someone's bank account to be a very good representation of their character. I think it's a matter of how they spend their money and their intentions with their money. How are they building their money? Like there's so much nuance in it, and this year I was literally learning so much nuance. I was learning about complexity in life, like continuing to learn about the complexity in life. Nothing in life is simple. You can't fit everything into a box of right and wrong. You can't fit people into a box of good and bad because life is just so much more nuanced and complex than that. I really appreciate appreciated the perspectives that I was able to gain from him, even though I have my own values and like I don't exactly have intentions of becoming rich myself. But I'm not opposed to the idea of having that abundance, because I know that that abundance is power, and I know I could use my power for the betterment to try to help others that are more disempowered. Anyway, so I'm moving forward and I'm focusing on my job, I'm focusing on my goals, I'm focusing on myself, focusing on my relationship with myself, really trying to gain the lessons and the perspective and the awareness that I was supposed to be gaining from the situation. But I'm still trying to get unfogged. Like, I'm trying to remove all the fears, remove all of the lack of accountability, remove all of the insecurities. Due to the barn guy situation and all of the ideas that were put in my head and I got way too attached to, I was able to move on from the feelings I was having for my coworker, my friend, and I was able to rebuild our friendship again, and we were finally able to talk and we were able to roll, we were able to work together with no problems. But there was one day that we were having a one-on-one conversation and things kind of got sparked up again, and ever since that moment things kind of started to grow slowly between us. I was starting to really like my coworker again, and I knew I can't have him, I can't have him, I can't have him, I can't have him. As we continued to talk and the connection kept growing and growing, and I just kept questioning and questioning, and I kept stopping it and ending it before it could go too far, but then it would spark back up. I would tell him it's never gonna happen, and then I would end it and then start it up again. And like, that's a habit that I have. It's what happened with Barn Guy, and it's what happened with this situation again, where I know what's right, I know what I want, and I know what's best for me, I know the person I want to be, and so I try to take actions that align with that. But because something I want is valued more, I was consciously getting myself into a situation that was bad, that was unethical, that was wrong. I was having to question my entire self as a person, because our morals and our values are a foundational part of our character and who we are, and now suddenly I'm doing things that are morally disingenuous. He wasn't available, he wasn't mine to talk to, he wasn't mine to be entertained by. It got to a point where the situation was just escalating. My feelings were really strong. I really cared about him. Like, I genuinely loved him so much. I don't think either of us expected the situation to blow up in the way that it had, but moral of the story is that we went no contact. It never ended up working out. He was never going to end up being mine. We both told each other it was never going to happen on different occasions, and we both decided to just ignore that fact. After everything blew up, I was desperately trying to like help put his life back together, and I was thinking about how I could like fix it for him. I was begging my boss to potentially give him back his job. I was like, I'll do dish for a week. I'm trying everything I can to try to find a place for him to live. I was trying to control a situation that was completely out of my control. I had to accept my place. I had to accept the way that I was perceiving everything and the way I felt and the way I was acting, and I kind of just had to face the person that I've become and the things that I'm willing to do for the things that I want. I want to talk about it more in the future, and obviously in these episodes I'm sure I'll unpack it more and more slowly, but it's just something that like really solidified the lessons in my head, where it's like, wow, I'm putting myself in these situations. I'm consciously deciding and I'm choosing this. These people are telling me what they can give me and what they can't, and I'm blatantly ignoring what they're telling me. They tell me the expectations that I should have and that are appropriate to have, but then I'll just create my own expectations based on my feelings and my own desires and my wants. And I have so many lessons that I just learned this year in general, but this one situation really fucking like, without the situation, I don't think it would have clicked in the way that it did. You know, like, I have no one to blame but myself. I have to take full accountability for my actions. I can't run from my actions. I can't hide. I can't lie. This was the first time I've ever had like a secret. I'm so expressive. I talk about everything on the internet, and this was the first time in my life that I couldn't even talk to my friends about what was happening. I couldn't talk to my followers. I couldn't talk to my live. Like, I couldn't talk about what was happening in my life for like the first time in my entire life, and I don't like having secrets. I feel like I devalue myself in hopes of gaining connection and comfort, but I always abandon myself for that. I can give myself comfort and I can gain connections in a platonic way. By the end of this year, I have learned so much about morals. I've learned so much about relationships. I've learned so much about my relationship with myself. I've become so much more secure in myself despite the failures in my character, if you'd like to say. Like, I do not align with the behavior that I've exhibited. I don't agree with a lot of the decisions I've made. I don't regret the things I've done. I do feel remorse for the things I've done, because like, I know I've hurt someone, but at the end of the day, it's like, I know why I did what I did, and I know what the situation was, and it wasn't as bad as people might think it was, but it was still bad. Like, I did something wrong, and I can't hide from that. I can't run from that. I can't avoid that. I can't just try to suppress that. Like, I did something wrong. I let myself live in a delusional reality at the expense of somebody else, and I let myself ignore the truth for my own comfort. I lied to myself, therefore I was lying to other people, and like I learned a lot, and I had to learn a lot, and unfortunately I didn't learn it in a different way. I learned it in the way I learned it. This year I had to learn how to focus my energy on how I hurt myself rather than how other people are hurting me. It is valid for me to be upset for how someone might hurt me or how someone might dismiss me or discard me. I'm allowed to feel how I feel, but I also do need to take accountability for when I put myself in situations that I know are going to lead to me getting hurt because I'm ignoring the truth. I'm avoiding something that I don't want to be aware of because I know that if I were to truly be aware of the reality of the situation, I wouldn't be able to live in my delusional reality, so I'll just lie to myself. I have to take accountability for the ways I hurt myself and the way I abandon myself and do better about it. This year, I dove really deep into learning about morals and values. What are morals? What are values? In what ways do they shape our experience? How do people experience it individually and subjectively? I always had very rigid morals. I always had this very rigid idea of what was right and wrong because I always thought in black and white, all or nothing. So if someone did something that I deemed wrong, or that I think a lot of people can collectively agree might be wrong, if someone did something wrong, I would kind of just write them off as a bad person who does wrong things rather than a human who was given decisions and they made a more unproductive decision that might have led to more hurt and maybe was more inconsiderate. I had this moral superiority complex where I thought I was a better person than everybody else. I thought I was in some way superior, you're not as good as me, you're not as great as me because I have so many more morals than you. I'm willing to do better than you, and I have morals. I feel like I still have very strong values, even though yes, this year I've went against them in a way I never would have anticipated, but I was able to learn a lot of lessons that led to me having more compassion for people. I would just shame people if they did something that I disagreed with, and I really would just think they were this bad person, even though I don't have to agree with their behavior. I don't even have to condone it. I don't even have to verbally respect it. I'm allowed to have my own feelings on it, and people are allowed to have feelings based on my actions. You're allowed to feel however you feel about me. You're allowed to perceive me however you feel comfortable. Learning about the patience that it takes to build new habits. Sometimes you have to do bad habits and compromise with yourself to develop good habits. When I would try out a new lifestyle or try to build new habits, I always felt like I had to stop all my bad habits cold turkey. I would think in this all or nothing way. I would think I have to do it all, but then I would end up just doing nothing. Let's say I have 3 bad habits, and I feel like a better way of saying it is unproductive habits, habits that I just don't feel aligned with anymore. They just don't fulfill me anymore. These are things I just generally want to change because I want different. So I have these 3 unproductive habits. Instead of being oh, I can't do any of these habits today, I'll compromise with myself and I'm okay, we're gonna exchange 1 unproductive habit for a more productive habit. Even though we're still doing 2 unproductive habits, we're being patient with ourselves and allowing ourselves to go one day at a time, one step at a time. And that's what's made the most progress for me, is just being patient with myself and knowing that it's okay to do bad things, and it's okay to do things that are unproductive. It's okay to allow yourself to be patient through the learning process. Again, I'm just breaking down the whole idea of good and bad. I just don't see everything through that lens anymore. So it's oh, I don't want to scroll on my phone all day. I'm allowed to scroll on my phone every day. It's not inherently bad. I mean, in my definition of bad, I would consider it maybe below standard. I do have a higher standard for myself now. I don't want to spend 14 hours a day scrolling on my phone. I do consider that to be more harmful towards the lifestyle that I know I want, but it's not bad. I can do whatever I want. I'm allowed to live however I want, but I choose what I want, and I want something different for myself. I feel like I've become a very assertive person. I've learned how to ask for what I want. I very much have honed in on the belief that I can have everything I want. I can have anything I want. I'm willing to ask for what I want, and there's no shame in that. I think another thing that now I'm learning, now that I've learned that lesson, I had to learn that lesson first, and now I have to learn the complexity and the nuances in that lesson. And so it's yes, Stephanie, you can have anything you want. You really can, but you need to learn how to not give yourself what you want sometimes. You need to learn how to have discipline and know that sometimes what you want isn't what you should have, and I'm learning that lesson. But I'm just becoming more confident, and I'm willing to ask for what I want, and I'm not scared for it because I like to create an environment where people feel comfortable to say no. I always tell people no is an acceptable answer. No is an acceptable answer. I will always ask for what I want, but that doesn't mean you have to give it to me. I'm not asking with the expectation. I'm just asking with the intention of hopefully receiving achieving something, but it's okay if I don't. This past year, I have been able to create such a secure sense of self for myself. Like, I don't think I know who I am, and who I am is who I'm always going to be. I think I'm constantly changing, I'm constantly experiencing, so it's not like this is Stephanie, and that's how I'm always going to be, and this is who I am forever. I'm still discovering myself, I'm still learning. Like, I'm going to go through new experiences, I'm going to meet people that are going to teach me things that I was never exposed to before, and I'm going to have to see how I react based on the situation I'm put in. You know, we can think that we're a certain person, but then when certain situations or decisions or circumstances are given to us, like, what are we really going to do now that we're actually in a situation where we have to choose and it's not just a hypothetical? But I feel secure in myself. I'm very proud of myself. I know I have a lot of value. I know I have a lot of power. I know that there's a lot of good inside of me. Like, I'm just very happy with the life that I have and the connections that I have. Like, I don't think I'm a bad person. I'm a human. I make mistakes. I make decisions. I consciously do things sometimes, even though I know I shouldn't. I'm not a good person. I'm not a bad person. I'm simply just a person who's living and trying to experience and just trying to be the best version of themselves, even though I fall short sometimes. I don't feel like I have to shame myself. I don't feel like I have to belittle myself. I simply can hold myself accountable. I'm strong enough to acknowledge when I'm wrong. I'm strong enough to acknowledge when I need to change my behavior and do something different. In a way, I'm still very proud of my character. I'm still very proud of the person I've become, and I know I make a positive impact in the world. I know I make a positive impact on the people that come into my life and that I get to experience. I don't hate myself anymore, like, not even for a fucking second. So I love myself, even though I'm flawed, even though I'm not perfect, even though I've done shitty things before. That doesn't make me a shitty person. I've learned so much about relationships and how people perceive their relationships. I feel like I've gained more perspective of how relationships work, or how some people use relationships, how some people navigate relationships. So many people have different relationship dynamics. I feel like I've just gained so much awareness from the people around me on what relationships can look like from the inside out. Just hearing people's perspectives and hearing what they're frustrated about and hearing what they feel and what they think has just helped me a lot become more secure in myself. If one day I get in a relationship and I have a partner, I know the dynamic that I want. I don't want this person to be my life. Like, I don't want to fear the abandonment of this person. Like, this person is not my life. Like, I can provide for myself. I can give myself all the things I need. I can give myself everything I want. I don't need you to emotionally fulfill me. I don't need you to help me process. Like, these are all things I can do for myself. I'm a very whole person. Like, I don't need you. I'm not looking for a financial provider. I'm not looking for someone who can give me a life. I give myself my life, and you are an addition to it. I want you to help amplify my life. I want someone to experience life with, and I want someone to share my life with, and I want us to have our own lives and to just have a crossover, you know? We're sharing it, we're partners, we're going through it together for however long we're meant to be together, even if that's not forever. I'm just very secure in myself now. I don't need someone else. I don't need someone else to validate me. I don't need someone else to reassure me. I don't need any of that. I would like it, and that's something I would hope to have in a relationship, and I'm kind of out of this era, like, where I'm trying to stop settling for less than what I know I deserve. Like, I'm a Ferrari. I perceive myself to be a Ferrari. Self-perception is what matters. I perceive myself to be a Ferrari. I perceive myself to have a lot of value. I want someone in the passenger seat, or someone who can sit in the front row seat and take control and take me for a drive, and I can trust them and I feel protected by them. I want a relationship where we both can experience each other's values, but I'm not just being used. Another thing I learned is that I can't write somebody else's story in hopes that I could write myself in it. Sometimes we're meant to be in someone's story for a brief period of time. We have a very small role that we play in their life, and that's it. That's our value, that's our purpose, and that's valuable. It's not like something that's less than, or you're less than as a person, but sometimes it feels like we play bigger roles in people's lives, or sometimes we feel like we want to hold on to someone longer than we're meant to. And I feel like throughout the last part of the year, when I was trying to like fix this person's life, or like, I guess I was trying to like help them by getting them their job back and trying to help them find a place to live and like all these different things. I was trying to take control of their life in a way that they didn't even ask me to. Like, they didn't ask me to do any of that, and like, it wasn't my responsibility, and if anything, it's just very intrusive. I feel like it just pushes people away when you just try to like push them and push them and push them to do something else and do something different, but they have to come to that conclusion themselves. Like, they have to write their own story. They have to go through their own lessons. They have to go through their own chapters and all of their own experiences, and they need to learn at their own pace and in their own way. It was never my place to try to change their life or try to change their mindset. It was never my place to try to change them in any way, shape, or form, but I wanted to be a part of their story, and so I was frantically trying to figure out how I could make that happen, when really I just needed to accept that I couldn't be a part of their story. I was trying to create circumstances where they could choose me, but I don't think they had intentions of choosing me, even if it's something they might have wanted or desired in some form. I'm choosing myself now. I'm trying to live with the mindset that I'm choosing. I'm not trying to be chosen. So this year was crazy, but simultaneously it was the most relaxing, calm year I've ever had. I spend a lot of my time outside. My screen time is probably an average of like 4 hours a day. I focus on my health. I focus on my goals. I focus on myself. I'm a person I've never been before, and I'm still navigating that. I'm still learning what that means. There's a lot of change actually happening in my life right now. For this next year in 2026, I'm probably gonna go without a car for a little while, but we're gonna see where that goes. And I'm more than likely transferring jobs so that way I could walk to my job, therefore I could live a life without a car for a while, because I feel like the comfortability of having a car is really nice, but I think that having the discipline of walking to work and walking home and knowing what I'm supposed to focus on at home, like my workouts and my videos and just focusing on the things I want to build, I feel like I haven't really been building anything other than just my sense of self, and I've just been experiencing, which has been important. Like I can just see the value in all of the things I've gone through this year and all of the experiences I've had, and knowing that I'm going to continue experiencing, I'm going to continue learning, and I just have to continuously get out of my comfort zone, but we'll talk about that later. I'm currently stuck laying in bed. I went on a walk this morning and I had a really great time. I just listened to my music and I think I walked for about like 30 minutes to an hour. I don't really know how long. But now I'm back in bed because I'm stuck in like ADHD decision paralysis. I want to reorganize my apartment, but I don't really know where to start right now because a part of me wants to do a house tour, but I don't want to do a house tour before I reorganize. But then I'm like, no, maybe I should just reorganize and then do a house tour. I want to reorganize my apartment because I hope to be getting a PC in the next few months. I have my monitor sitting up on my loft. I have my Xbox sitting up on my loft right now. I just have some storage here and I don't really want storage in my room. So I want to reorganize my home so that way I could put my monitor on my desk and start preparing for the life that I know I want. Like I have to set it up for myself. That way I take action to like complete it. But I'm debating if I should do an apartment tour before I reorganize or after. We're currently on my loft, so maybe I'll give you guys like a brief apartment tour and then I'll give you guys another apartment tour once I finish everything up. This is my loft. It's a cute little space on the top of my shoebox apartment. I just have my bed here in the corner and then all of the storage and stuffed animals I was talking about. This is the view from the top of my loft. I know it's a little bit messy right now, but I have my vanity mirror. This is where my sister Vanessa is staying right now. I have an extra bed that I had before I got this bed. I have my desk. I have a chill sitting area right there. Nothing too big, something casual. And now we'll go down and I'll show you the kitchen. Gotta go down the ladder. I have a ladder that helps me get up and down from my loft, and it is my favorite part of the apartment. I love my ladder and I love my loft. This is the kitchen. I have a cute little stove. I have a full-sized fridge. My sink is perfect. I put my dishes on that part. I have a good amount of space. I know I don't have a lot of counter space, but I make it work. Now let's enter the bathroom and laundry area. This is my wardrobe. I love my wardrobe. I'm so thankful for everything I have. I have my drawers at the bottom. I honestly just put the drawers that I had in my car whenever I was living in my car, just they fit perfectly in these little cubes, so it was fine. This is my washer dryer. It washes and it dries. This is my bathroom. I have a really nice mirror, and guess what? It's really nice. The sink is really nice. The toilet's really nice. The shower is really nice. I'm genuinely so blessed. And last but not least, whenever I open the door, we have a full-sized porch. I got that chair for like $20 at a thrift store. It's my favorite. I currently have a lung infection and I didn't even smoke. I don't smoke anymore because of how bad it is for my lungs, and every single time I smoke, I now get a lung infection. But for some reason, the last few days, I just got one and I was like, what the fuck? I'm even being good. I'm taking care of myself, everything. But stuff happens. We have an immune system. Sometimes it's a little faulty. I'm thankful for a body that regenerates. I have a body that regenerates and heals itself and works with all that shit. I want to make some food, but currently my car is broken and I have very little groceries at my house right now, and anything I can make, I'm not really in the mood for, but I might walk to Publix. It's about a 40-minute walk and get some groceries maybe. Maybe I'll do that today, but it'll be my first time doing a grocery haul walking, but it's gonna be my new regular because the ABS system completely went out in my car and John doesn't really know how to program an ABS system, so we're trying to find a pre-programmed part, but I haven't really been able to find a part yet, so it's been a little stressful, but not that much because I know everything's gonna be okay and it's all gonna work out. And I've also decided that I think I'm gonna go ahead and and sell my car after I get it fixed. That way I can just live a lifestyle where I'm walking everywhere and I don't have to have the finances of a car. I know what I want to prioritize, and I know it might be a challenge, but if I can walk to my work, then that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. But we're still also waiting for the transfer update. I really hope I can transfer because I think it would be beneficial for the lifestyle I know I want to go into. But if I can't transfer, it's not like I hate my job. I absolutely love my job. I love the people that I work with, so I'll just make decisions based on that, you know? I'll just continue to go from there. But as of right now, I don't have enough information, so we're in limbo. I hate being in limbo. I hate feeling unsettled, but this is the part of change. This is the part that I'm supposed to be uncomfortable. I keep telling myself that this is what I wanted, like the discomfort of the unknown, the discomfort of what path am I going to go down, where am I going, like this is what I want. I know I want change, I know I want difference, and I'm learning to tolerate discomfort and just go with the flow. So even though I feel really weak right now and I feel really sick, I think I'm gonna go ahead and start reorganizing my house just so I do something, because right now it's like I want to edit, which is weird. Like, why do I want to edit? And then another part of me is like, I just want to lay in bed and do nothing so that way my lungs can heal. But I wanted to walk this morning and it felt really good, so hopefully reorganizing my apartment will make me feel more productive and fulfilled, and I can just relax for the rest of the day after that. Well, hello. Are you here for the apartment tour?
Yeah.
All right, come on in. We have our books, a counter for it with a little air humidifier, and a chair that you can talk and read in. Here we have our vanity area. It's where we do our hair, our makeup, we get ready, we stare at ourselves, the works. We have this little extra bed area where my sister Vanessa is staying right now momentarily. We have my desk right here where hopefully my PC will be in the next few months. I just like to eat at this table. I'll do lives on this table. We do everything on this table. Over here we have our water jugs, water gallons, painting supplies. We have the entire kitchen here. It's where I nourish my body and take care of myself. I'm actively cooking meals on the stove. I love my stove so much. The dirty dishes you can just ignore. That's pretty typical for me. If you know anything about me, I hate doing the dishes. We have a fridge not stocked with food. We're going grocery shopping tomorrow. Now you can follow me here. We have all of our shoes, our skateboard, all of that stuff. Now, if you follow me into here, we have our clothes, we have the drawers underneath, we have a washer dryer in the unit. How perfect, how convenient. This is where I shower and clean myself. We have a cute little mirror here with a light. You can change the light here. It works typically. I like it on this setting, so we keep it on this setting. Now follow me and we're gonna go to the loft. We have this cute little ladder that helps us get to the top of the loft. This is the top of the loft. This is where I sleep here. And this is gonna be my stretching area. And it's my little home. We have all of my stuffed animals right here. And I love just looking over at the loft and just seeing everything below me. You can come show them. It's just really nice to look at my home and see everything that I love and just be able to sit on the edge and just feel gratitude because what the fuck, this is my home. Do you want to say hi, Nick?
Hi.
Thank you for coming to my apartment tour. Bye. I just got off the phone with another mechanic and I have a 2010 Mercury Milan hybrid and my ABS module just went kaplunk. Went out. We've been trying to find pre-programmed ABS modules. That way we can do the labor instead of going to a mechanic at a shop and spending $2,000. But I've been looking since my car broke down for an ABS module VIN 3 for the hybrid instead of a VIN A. But all of the ABS modules that we can find are VIN A. And the only VIN 3 hybrid module that we were able to find was for $1,000. So I think I'm gonna end up having to sell Brenda for parts, which is really sad and really unfortunate. But I always knew that I was going to use her until she went into failure, and this is just where we're at. Thankfully, before all of this happened, I was already in a mindset of wanting to walk to work and go without a car, but then I convinced myself. I actually have a clip, I can put it right here. I was thinking about selling my car. I feel like I could probably get like a couple $1,000s for my car instead of like $0 if it eventually breaks down, gets in an accident or whatever, and I can walk to work and I can do this and that. Then I was like, well, then I can't really visit my sisters and I can't get around outside of just work, you know, like I'd like to be able to go to the store. But here we are. The universe said, well, you decided not to sell Brenda, therefore we're gonna make her break because you're gonna be walking. I might try to drive her to the grocery store just so that way I can get some food just to see how it works with the brakes, because if I can drive with her for the next few days and just prepare myself, then that would be nice. But the brakes are basically broken. The ABS system has gone out and Vanessa's currently driving Jessica's Blueberry with a broken ABS system. So I'm like,
maybe it could work for me. I'm not going great lengths. I'm only driving like 6 minutes, so it should be okay, hopefully. But I just would have to be very careful and drive very slow and be very cautious. But we'll see what I end up doing, because obviously I don't want to be unsafe and I don't want to do something reckless. But I think it's time to say bye to Brenda. So even if Brenda ends up breaking down, then it is what it is. It's just sad. It's the end of an era. Brenda was my first car. I bought her cash. It was such an accomplishment for me, and she has taken such good care of me. I've never taken her for granted. I always drive her, and I'm so thankful for her. Even when she broke down, I was like, I love you. If it's time, it's time. You know, like, I'm just not angry. I'm not upset. I know everything's gonna be fine. I know everything's gonna work out. It's just a circumstance that was really unfortunate. The only problem is that if I can't transfer to the store that I'm able to walk to, then I'm gonna have to find another job, because I can't Uber to work every single day, or at least that's not something I'm willing to do, not long term at least. I'm gonna try to drive my car for the first time since the lights turned on. As I mentioned before, my sister Vanessa is currently driving our other sister Jessica's Blueberry that has a broken ABS system. So I'm gonna try to drive into town, which is like 6 minutes, and see how my car drives and just see how it is, because if I could go to the store before I sell the car, that'd be awesome. So I wanted to record myself driving it for the first time, just in case I get in an accident or something. I might as well have it on camera. Might as well have it on camera. I'm gonna have to take it really easy, so wish me luck. Yeah, it's like there's, oh, really? Now the wrench light is on. Hold on, let me show you. That's typically my throttle body. We're gonna try to kick my car into drive. Hold on, let's see. Previously, the wrench light was not on. That did not pop on any of the times that we turned on my car since New Year's Eve. It would be nice to get some money from Brenda, but if I just have to let her go, then I'm gonna just have to let her go. I don't want to drive with the wrench light on. I'm scared. My engine seems to work. It seems to work. So maybe we should still try to go. I don't know. Let's so we're gonna do the same thing here, right? So, oh my God, like, it is so bad. Like, it is so bad. I'm gonna have to go so slow. I'm literally just going to refill my water jugs. I don't think this is smart. I'm gonna listen to my gut. I don't think it's smart. Here's to more codes and more problems, but everything's still gonna be okay. I'm trying to navigate how I feel. There are so many conflicting feelings. There are so many conflicting perspectives. I don't think he maliciously was trying to manipulate me, and he was saying things that were disingenuous to how he actually felt. But how much of it was him lying to himself, and therefore him lying to me? And I know the ways I lied to myself, and therefore I lied to him. I find myself getting involved in situationships where I just end up feeling confused. Did we really have this deep, genuine connection, or did I take any form of affection I got from him to confirm the biases in my head? The more I process it, and the more I process it outside of just the lens of my feelings, right? We always process situations first through our feelings, and then we're able to see it more logically. Our perception is typically fogged by our feelings, because feelings are not facts. They're just the experiences we're having based on the way we're perceiving a situation. Whenever I take my feelings out of the equation and I look at the situation more objectively, I feel like I was being a naive idiot. Like, where did I think this was gonna go? What did I think was going to happen? Was I ignorantly perceiving the situation the entire time the same way I was with Barn Guy? With Barn Guy, I was just living in my head. I wasn't actually looking at the situation for what it was. I was perceiving it through the lens and delusion of what I wanted it to be. I don't know, I just feel like I'm sitting in bed, I'm just ruminating, and I'm trying to find some kind of relief. I'm trying to find a conclusion I can come to that makes me feel closure. I want to just devalue him. I want to completely devalue him and just be like, nah, he just used me. He needed an escape. He wanted entertainment, and I handed it to him. Like, I gave it to him, and yeah, I made it a little bit difficult by ending it and starting it and ending it and starting it. But at the end of the day, it was exciting and it was exhilarating, and it was what it was. There's this saying, like, believe people when they tell you who they are, and it's like, I believe he perceives himself that way. I believe that's who he thinks he is. Yes, he's taken shitty actions. He's done shitty things. He's done things that I think about and I'm like, how do you even get to that like decision? But I don't know, that's just not who he is as a person. Those are the decisions he makes because he believes he can't make other decisions. He's a victim to his own belief system, just like half of the world right now. I've worked so hard in the past year to have compassion for people, and now I feel like I'm in this place where it's like, is my compassion now leading me to have poor judgment, or am I really just seeing the situation from a perspective of empathy and understanding rather than just shitting on him because of the decisions that he's made? Because I know I've made shitty decisions, but I know I'm not a shitty person. I have hurt people in my life. I have disrespected the fuck out of people in my life, but I knew I could always grow from it and learn from it. And I got to a point where my actions started to reflect the person I wanted to be rather than the person I always believed I was and had to be. But that was my belief system. I'm not trying to void them of accountability. Accountability is actually met with compassion. The way to get someone to change their behavior is by changing their beliefs. Our behaviors aren't just these arbitrary actions that we take that have no inherent meaning. What you believe is what's going to lead to how you take action. Your beliefs are a direct tie to your behaviors. You can't just change your behaviors by trying to develop new habits. You have to develop new beliefs. I don't know, like I just see so much complexity and nuance in the situation, and it's like, am I devaluing myself through this process? It would have been worth it if maybe it ended up with him realizing that this needs to change. And I never wanted him to make a change for me. Like I always told him, like he kept saying things that it was like for you, or this and that. And I'm like, no, I'm not trying to make you make this change just because of me. Yes, I wanted to create circumstances that led to me being able to be in your life, and that led to you choosing me. But that was not my main intention, and that was not my only intention. I wanted you to have a happier, better life. And the way you were acting and the things that you were believing in were decreasing your quality of life, and it's actively decreasing the quality of life of the people around you as well. But it's like, that was never my place. And I was never going to make any kind of deeper change in his life. I was always just meant to teach him lessons, and I don't even know if he learned those lessons, you know? Like, I've had people come in my life that had the opportunity to teach me great things, and then I just didn't learn the lesson. All I cared about was how I felt, and I felt like life was against me. And like, he even said one time, he said, life fucked me. And I told him, I was like, life didn't fuck you. Your own actions and your own inaction fucked you. I remember the last time I saw him, the last thing I saw him do before he drove away was go. And that lives in my head, bro. Like, that lives in my head rent free. In his defense, I did go. But I knew my intentions with that. One of the things I need to work on is that I like poetic endings. I like endings to happen with a little bow on top, wrapped up nicely, with a lot of closure and clarity, and that way you can move on without any stress or rumination. It always ends with me like expressing my feelings and over communicating in a way that is burdensome. It is a burden. It's annoying. Like, I'm literally dumping all my feelings on this person, and then suddenly it ends. They end up blocked. I over communicate, and not that expressing my feelings is inherently bad, not that sharing my feelings is inherently bad, but sometimes, bro, I need to like summarize. I wanted to share all of my delusional thoughts, and I wanted to ask all my questions, and then I never ended up talking to him again. It's not like I'm not moving on. I'm just trying to process my feelings, and I'm just trying to regulate myself, and I need to go to bed. I've been scrolling all night because I've been avoiding my feelings, and I hate scrolling. I never bring my phone up to my loft, which I developed the habit of bringing my phone up to my loft whenever him and I were talking, because I would get used to him texting me later. The classic late night texts. And I didn't want to miss his messages, so I started bringing my phone up to my loft whenever I slept, and I don't like that habit. And it's like I've been scrolling for hours just trying to avoid my feelings, trying to avoid my thoughts, and it's like, I know you feel bad for having these feelings in the first place, but you still have to regulate them. You put yourself in this situation, and you're gonna have to learn the lessons that you are meant to learn through this, and it's not gonna be comfortable, and it's not gonna make you look good, and it's not gonna have a positive perception attached to it. I don't make these videos to show how good of a person I am. I make these videos to show what it's like healing from a condition called borderline personality disorder and complex post-traumatic stress disorder, what it's like to just try to do better than how you've done in the past, how we can learn to just better ourselves in general. My intention on earth isn't to try to be perceived as a good person. I just try to be real and honest and truthful. And now I have to talk about a situation where I wasn't really any of those things. The more I try to hide from the situation, the more I know it's going to be brought up, the more I'm going to have to face it in circumstances that are more unideal. You can't hide from the truth. You can't hide from the things you've done, because it's always going to catch up to you, whether it's on your deathbed or after a couple weeks. I really just try to confront things head on. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, that's how I was perceiving it. I still like him. I still think about him. He's not mine. He's probably in bed with someone else. It's not my life and it's not my concern. I shouldn't be thinking about it. And obviously, I need to focus on myself. And I feel like, in a way, this is me focusing on myself. This is me focusing on my feelings, trying to process the situation. I'm not sitting here telling you, I need him. I miss him so much. Like, I need him back. Like, why couldn't he choose me? Like, what did I do wrong? What was it about me that was unlovable? Girl, it wasn't like anything to do with me. Like, the circumstances of his life are the circumstances of his life. He has a kid to consider. He is never going to prioritize me over his kid, and I would never want that. If hell is real, I don't mind serving my sentence for a little while, but I don't think I'm eternally damned for the things that I've done or the things that I felt. This episode is definitely going to be a really long one, but I don't mind because, again, they're for me. And if anything, I hope it discourages people from watching it, because if people don't know the things I've done, then maybe they'll only perceive me in a positive way, and people will think I'm perfect and great and awesome, and they'll only have this idealized perception of me, and then I could just rule the world because everybody thinks I'm perfect. Like, I don't know. Moral of the story is that obviously I have to continue moving on, like I have. It just sucks when nights like this happen and I'm thinking about it a little extra. I want more clarity. I want to talk to him again. I want to know how he actually feels. I want to know what he actually wants. I want to know this and that. I'm never going to know these things. I don't want to devalue him in order to move on from the situation. I want to learn how to dialectically think and process within that dialectical thinking. He cared about me, but he couldn't choose me. It was something special and important, and it was something, but it was never going to be more than what it was. I want the best for him, and one of the last things I told him was that I hope his relationship dynamic works out. I hope that they're able to make it work in the way that they've so desperately have been trying. I hope he gets everything he wants, and I hope that he's able to face parts of himself and heal and do better.
Today I went into town and I went to go check out the new job that I'm hoping to get to go transfer to, but the manager wasn't there and he's not going to be there for like another week. It was really nice going on the walk. It's definitely a longer walk, but I really enjoy the scenery. It's in a really good area. After I realized the manager wasn't there, I ended up walking to Publix and got myself some wings. I sat down, had some food, relaxed before I walked home. I'm not too stressed. I'm not too worried because either way I have a job. I have the job that I currently have right now and potentially the transfer that's closer to me, but either way I have an income to make sure I can pay my rent. I need to write out my goals because I want to have distinct, specific goals to work towards. A lot of them have to do with my physical health. I want to get stronger. I want to be flexible. These are things I have to continue putting a lot of effort into to build the skills and to build the mobility. It's going to take time and patience because it's a process. I made Vanessa and I food last night and that was really fun. She also offered to do the dishes, which was crazy, and I really appreciated that. She said, I love love, and then I was like, I love love too, and I love you, because I just like made her food and I had no expectation. She doesn't have to do anything for me to give her something, like she doesn't owe me anything. I like being able to curate environments of like authentic love, authentic respect, like being genuine. It's not forced. I'm not like fearing you into doing things for me. I'm not making you feel bad because you haven't done enough. I'm not making you feel like there's these obligations over your head that I didn't explicitly verbalize to you, I feel like I'm actually curating a safe environment and the people around me feel safe. Like I'm a safe space. They don't have to worry. They don't have to stress. I'm not going to lash out on them. I'm not going to be projective. Like I'm actually able to regulate myself now, and I'm very understanding and very patient. I'm very different. And so now I'm able to have different relationships than I've always had. Being able to have them in my life and knowing the work that I've put in to make that possible, it just feels very rewarding, and it feels like it's paying off. I think in the next few months, I'm really just going to continue focusing on myself, focusing on my health, focusing on my videos. I want to make at least like 2 videos a week, my outliving my diagnosis video and maybe another one, or however many videos I can make. I have a lot of insight I'd like to share, a lot of perspective. I just would like to share my perspective with the world. That doesn't mean everything I say is right, doesn't mean everything I say is wrong. I just want to share my point of view of how I see the world and how I perceive situations, because I think it's important to acknowledge multiple perspectives, and I think it's important to try to understand the intricacies of multiple different perspectives, not just on the surface, but actually getting a deeper understanding. But I want to focus on my YouTube videos so that way I can at least have something, because I thoroughly enjoy my own content. I am my biggest fan. Yes, it probably stems from my ego a little bit, but I also am just proud of myself. I love my character. I love my story. It's like writing a book. I'd hope to like the book that I write. I would want to reread it myself. How can I expect someone else to like content, art, creation that I make if I don't even like it myself? I just have to keep getting better. I have to make shitty videos until eventually they become mediocre videos, until eventually they become really good videos. Anyways, I should probably end this week's episode since it's already going to be a decently long one. If you guys enjoy these types of videos and you'd like to join the community, I encourage you to join the Discord server linked in the description below. It is such an amazing community with like 1,600 people, I believe, currently. But if you learned absolutely nothing from this video, please just leave this video knowing that you are sexy, you are valid, and you are loved. And I will see you in the next video.
Hope you liked my videos. Is there anything else I'm supposed to say as a YouTuber?